Hey y'all, how you doing? This is Evan with Fifth Third Trading. Today is Monday, January 11th. Today we have another fantastic watch list for you. To all my Browns fans out there, cheers. To all them Steelers fans, you might want to talk to Juju because same old Browns, but it's none of our business, That tastes good. Woo! That's spicy. But enough about that. I don't want to make anyone feel too bad, even though you kind of deserve it a little bit. I'll let it go. But with that being said, fantastic watch list today. With that, I have a few things I want to show you, and we'll get into that in just a minute. Again, this channel is for those who are 9-to-5 traders who cannot sit at a computer all day, beginner traders who need to learn technical analysis and pair it with fundamental analysis. This is for intermediate traders who all today have no money in their cash accounts because NIO day is today. So everyone's going NIO, everyone's in plug, everyone's in Bitcoin, all those kinds of things. Some folks having that FOMO, fear of missing out kind of thing going on. So a lot of folks need these kinds of trades that I give to give you some really good mid caps, because mid caps become large caps and then those become blue chips. We get in early. Again, during the pandemic, I will not charge anybody for any kind of help. If you need anything, please let me know. Yes, premium services are on the way in a few months, but again, I don't have the principles to charge during these kinds of times. So if you need anything, please comment down below. I'll answer any questions that you have. If you enjoy this kind of content, please consider subscribing. The quicker I can get subscribers and more views, the quicker I can start giving more services. That's kind of my benchmark, is when I hit 3, 5, 10, 15, whatever it is, to offer more services. That's just kind of how I'm going about this. With no further ado, let's check a few things out. So the first thing is, to the left of me, you're going to see this big old list. This is actually the entire list of calls that I made since I've started. You have your date symbol, that's your ticker. Price entry is the entry price that I went in on. The current price, you'll see on some that are still being held. My unrealized profit, if I were to sell right now, what I would get. My exit price, and then how much I made. And I'm calculating out the daily averages as we speak. So if you scroll down, see all these tickers. Something like Tesla I'm still holding, so that's why it has current price. I bought it at 408 and it's at 837. Now this calculation is kind of off. I don't know why it does that sometimes, because if I do 837, you'll see I've made 105% on Tesla so far. So for some reason, that's not perfect all the time. That's okay. It's not that important. But you can see something like this, like 29.37. We'll see 37. Yeah, you can see it's close. So I gotta do the math a little bit better. But you can see all the tickers that I've chosen. It's over 300 of them. As you can see, as we get closer towards the date that we are now, I'm holding many more. I'm still waiting on ED and beyond. These are good picks though, for sure. So I'll put today's down here, and they'll probably all be yellow until I get out of them. So like GIS, from yesterday, I'm currently losing on, but that's still being held. That's where I sold it at because it really dipped on us. PSA and SDC I sold. KNDI the other week, 21%. OPTT is running up today. So that's really cool. So that's the first thing I want to show you. The second thing that's also really cool is that I can take any chart and share it on that journal. That's going to be a premium service for when the time comes for those of you who want to join me on a more high level and more high investment and more involved. What I'm going to do for you is I'm going to take the share button here. I'm going to share this chart, open the link. And so this exact chart is what I'm going to take. And I'm going to go back to our sheet. And for W day here, I'll just take the link that I have for that day, and I'm going to place it there. And so when the premium members can check it out, not only do they get to have the ticker list, every single one's going to be timestamped with exactly what it's showing. And these do live update, that's the whole thing. So if you want to do your own charting, you certainly can, but then also you'll have mine in a secondary window directly imported to your computer. So you can have your system of COR. You could also come and be like, I hate Vortex, and you can edit them and take Vortex out if you want to. No problem, it's all editable, right? And what I could also do is I'll throw in all the tickers on a grid for you, and that way the next day you have your whole entire watch list for you. If you're a multiple monitor kind of guy, that's great. If you want to have all of them open and just watch them, that's great. If you want to take a few off, you can take it and just, minimize sell, take it off, whatever it is. You can be like, I want to do this instead. That's totally fine. But the cool part is I'll have every single ticker that we call in the premium services. They're all going to be hyperlinked and they'll all be live. So if you want to go through just my watch list of what I have, That's dope. So that's something you should look forward to. But for now, it's free. But when it goes live, I'm taking all that off. But for now, it will be good for you. With that being said, let's check out the watch list. Alright, y'all, one really important thing to mention before we... Oh, shit. One really important thing to mention before we really get into this is I keep saying this to some people, and I want to mention to you guys. There is no such thing as a red day. And what I mean is, yes, theoretically there will be days where the market is red and drops from where it started all the way down. But I want you to understand is that there's like 7 phases to every single day. You have pre-market, opening bell, the hour after opening bell, the lunchtime lull when people are going to go get lunch, right before closing, at closing like 4 to 5, and then like post-market 6 to 7. You have like 6 or 7 chapters in every single trading day. Just because it starts off red does not mean the whole day is going to be red. Just because the futures in the morning are red does not mean the futures at night are going to be red. You need to break yourself out of this thought process that every single day is just the chapter. No, there's chapters inside every single day. Now, if you're swing trading, yes, the post-market 7 o'clock at night to 7 a.m. is the most important. But if you do have time check during the day, there are plenty of good deals that happen during the day. Like today, it started off red, but as you can see, our master swing list is about 50-50 now. And the really important thing to notice, too, is that my winners, the big ones, are much bigger than the median losers over here. Now, again, there's more red than green, but that's okay. So, again, we called FUV last week, killing it. We called that last week, killing it. We called that last week, killing it. That last week, we called that. We called that. We called this. We called that. We called this. We called DD. We called PSNL. We called this. We called Ketra. OPTT we called. So, I mean, like, all the ones that we call were at value. Now they're making some money. So, again, it does take some time, but, like, FUV, we called it right down here. You would have bought it around 13 bucks. It's up almost 34%. So, like, this works. But that's just, I want you guys just to know that there is no such thing as a red day. There are red chapters of every day, or green chapters. With that being said, let's get into it. So our first stock is Amazon. Yes, before you freak out, because I'm going to be like, this is not what he does. Amazon's at a great value. I will call blue chips when they're here. This is such an obvious setup. And again, do you have $3,100? No, I don't even have $3,100 laying around to buy into this. But there's probably plenty of stocks that you could probably reference that you may follow the same trends. Maybe there's an Amazon ETF or something that's a little bit cheaper. You could buy 1/10 of a share. Look into it. I don't have time for that right now. I need to go home soon. But again, this is a good area. Worst case is at 3,073 is going to be a great support area. They may bounce off of that and then go up. Now again, this is a higher low situation over a bunch of months. Even over here, higher low, even there. Higher low, and higher low. So it has a chance of dropping down a little bit farther, but given the channel play, this is about it. We're talking at least, hopefully about 6 or 7%, which doesn't sound like a lot. But at this scale, 7% of $3,200 is quite a lot of money. About $200, so that's pretty cool. But again, we're looking for a breakout into higher highs. But Amazon's a great triangle. Let's check the indicators. As I mentioned in every video, I don't check these until I check them with you. So these are all fresh to me too. Again, I'm not going to get into it. It definitely bounces off the 50, and the 200 is a hard resistance as always. RSI does get oversold, and when it does, you will make money, but it looks like anywhere from 35 and lower, even closer to 37 and lower, you'll make money, and that's where it is. It does get overbought, so that's what you're probably going to want your goal to be. It is often enough that you'll make some money off it, so if you hold here, you want to go for overbought. It looks like right here, it doesn't get too much lower on the stochastic. It does, so I think it may dip a little bit farther, but again, given the history, it does reverse somewhere around this area. Vortex was mightily oversold, and now it's kind of come back, and now it's consolidating, which makes sense because this is a channel in itself in the middle of this whole entire movement here. So that kind of makes sense. So AMZN, Amazon, again, look for a 1/10 ownership of a stock kind of setup if you can find that kind of stock. But if not, you need 3K for this, but this is a great setup to go long on. I have quite a few today, so I'm trying to move a little bit quicker than usual, so I apologize. Not really. You'll be okay. So BTG we have called before. We called it over here. We said it may dip down farther. It did. You would have probably held just fine at 2%. You would have made it close to 6, but if you held until more profits, you would have made about 10. So a good long-term hold. It really worked out for us, and we're down here again. Now, I can see it dropping farther, so do not be surprised if tomorrow is a little bit of a red day for it. But again, it did drop down to here, and now it's up to here. So it's moved up a good 1.6% in the last day, at least. So until it really breaks this downtrend, I'd be cautious to buy in. But again, just to put in your radar that tomorrow may drop down to 5.2, 5.18, anywhere in that area, and even better, below $5 if you get down here. That's even better, right? But just keep your eye on this one for tomorrow to make a bounce. We're easily talking 8, 9, 10, 12% over a few weeks. Let's check the indicators. So it really respects the 200. I mean, it respects the 50 while it's riding up it. And again, it respects it highly when it's going down it. So now that we're consolidating, it's kind of going back and forth on the EMA lines. They are, in fact, important. They always are. But again, these are just going to both be resistances moving forward. That should be in the back of your head. That's going to be important. It does get oversold. And when it does, you made money. You would have lost money there. You would have lost money there. You would have made money. So it looks like on really big downtrends, it's not very useful. And neither is RSI ever on big downtrends. But again, it looks to be kind of consolidating here. We had some uptrends, and now it's kind of coming down. So if it gets oversold, great. Stochastic can't get much lower. Vortex can't get much lower. So our reversal is coming eventually. It should be within here and that $5.18 mark. Anywhere in here should be a reversal area. So all I got to think about really is if it keeps dipping down, you know, how much am I going to give up on the table to get this reversal? So it looks really good. Good setup. I would go long when I saw some life. CDXC, we bought 3 times. We won 3 times when we did it. We bought here. We went up good 10%, and usually at 10%, I set a stop loss to make sure I get at least 10% because 10% trades doubles your money. And then here again, we bought in right on that dip, and it went up almost 20%, so we made about 15 on that. And then just the other day, it went up 9%, so I made about 5 because I didn't hit my goal. We're back down here again, and again, it went up, and now it's still technically downtrending until we get into this 4.5 range dollar area. So it technically tapped down at like 4.6. So anywhere between here and where it's at 4.73 and 4.36, $4.36 will be a reversal area. So I think it's a good buy-in. You've had higher lows across the board pretty well here. So hopefully it shows some life tomorrow and you could buy in. Otherwise, wait for it to kind of show some life. But the reversals are very quick. It does do little spiky movements. So if it drops down tomorrow quickly, you need to buy in or else you're going to miss the move. Let's check the indicators. So as you can see, it's trying to break above the 50. That's the real move here. It breaks above it and then gets pulled back down. So it's a very strong gravitational force. Same with the 200 EMA line. That's more of a brick wall. And so when those kind of line up together, it makes it a little bit harder on it. That's kind of why the price action is getting stopped so hard. But again, we have plenty of room for a channel play here to go back and forth and make a lot of money. RSI doesn't really get oversold, but when it does, you would have made money. You would have made money eventually. Yeah, so I mean, you would have made some money and some bounces. But again, it looks like on these consolidation areas, anywhere around 39 and 37 is the move, and it's at 42, and it was just at 39. So that's pretty good. And again, we have what looks like a divergence again. You attach this to that. That's uptrending, as you can see, but this to that is downtrending. So again, there'll be a divergence soon, which means a reversal, which I like to see one of the most. And the Vortex is consolidating, but was just oversold. So maybe we want to see a little bit more red, and when the red kind of gets overextended and the green gets lower, I would go long. So might need a day or two, but CDXC is a great setup. Next is CERN, CERN. This was a great channel. I mean, you could have abused this easily for 10%, 12% over and over again. And again, some folks want to get those home run plays. We have some of those, but again, consistency is key and risk management is key. This is a great risk management play. You have 2 options tomorrow. There is a good chance that this stock right here is going to dip farther, and you can tell with the opening morning, maybe the futures are red tomorrow. Maybe it's going to dip down another 2 or 3%, right? And you could buy into the channel and really lower your risk management but maybe there's a chance that it's going to live here, right? This is a strong support area. As you can see, it held here. Wicks. So we know that from volume profile, this is going to be a low volume area. And as this kind of builds up, it becomes a stronger resistance and a stronger support. So that's a good area. So if it does dip down, you'll save yourself 2%. But your risk management strategy, of course, we talk about this, have videos on it. It needs to be past the channel, but not too far. So you're risking about 3 or 4%. But again, if this thing even shows any bit of life, 2, 3, 4, and keeps going, you'll make some good money. But it's a good long-term hold. If it keeps this channel going, it'll be a really good play. Let's check the indicators. So it's bouncing off the 50. That's going to be your play. As it keeps going up, and this won't last forever, so you may lose money eventually. It's bouncing off the 50, and when it dies, it will come to the 200 to try and bounce off of that as well. So you can kind of see how the 50 and 200 have kind of mirrored this channel play. So I think once this breaks, the channel will break and it'll start making a channel horizontally. So let's see what it does, but it's a good area to buy in. The RSI is over, it's fair. It's overbought-ish, but again, on an uptrend, that would make some sense. And again, you want to find where it reverses at. It looks like around 49 to 41, and we're at the 49 mark, so that makes sense. The stochastic's coming down, so I think more of negative volume may be coming in. And then, of course, the Vortex is oversold or overbought, but again, it does have long periods of being ridden up. Let's see how long these are. So I think there's a good chance it's going to keep riding as long as the red stays beneath it. So I think it's a good move, a good bullish move. But again, make sure you have risk management involved in a stop loss because this is more overextended than it has been in a very long time. As many of you know, the white dotted lines are the 70% volume range of where the volume happens, and then the red one is the most volume. This is a great example, and it may look like gibberish to some of you, but this is a great example of how volume profile can show strength. This is where the lines were about 2 months ago. So there's your POC, and there's your white lines. That was the channel before. Now the POC is up here. Oh, and this channel is up here. That in itself shows some strength. So now it's showing that the volume is much higher here than it is down there. This is a gravitational force pulling it up, and so that's going to add to our chance of success highly. So with that being said, EMP, my initials, looks pretty sick. It has a little bit of room to drop, and we're talking maybe, 0.3, 0.4% at most into this area. Now this support has held, but again, if it does die here, you're 25 and some change down here is where you want to buy into. You'll make that money that you lost back going back up. But even if it lives here, 3 or 4 easy percent. And again, this is not going to be a big move by any means, but for a beginner, it's a great stock to hold and to learn how to trade with very low risk. If you have a lot of money, you can throw enough money to buy 100 shares or 200 shares, and then 3% will make you some good money. And it's very safe. So it's a good looking trade. It also has a double bottom forming, as you can see. Let's check the indicators. So they look good. It broke below the 200 and the 50, and your real sign to go long will be when it gets above both of them. That's when you're going to make the most money. And at this area of value, it's really good for risk management. There's a good support area. It's a good looking price action. It just needs to break both these EMA lines to go long. At this area, it doesn't really get oversold, but at this area, as you can see, it does reverse historically in the RSI, so that's a great sign. The stochastic can't get too much lower, which I really, really like as well. And then the Vortex just crossed negative. So we want to see that kind of dip down a little bit farther. We want to see some more red volume. And again, not too much, but we want to see some more. If that happens and we see some green, I would definitely go long. But EMP is a good safe play, a good beginner trade. It'll make you some good money. Next is ERIC, Ericsson Adder sponsored. Sick. It looks really good. What a great up channel. And again, this is technically wedging for sure. As you can see, this is not as high as highs. And then again, we have a strong resistance in this area. Definitely over here would be your strong resistance that it needs to break above. So this is also making a triangle kind of. So it needs to break this area of $12 and go long. But again, right here, we're talking easily 6%, 7% in the next few days. And again, I love these plays because your stop loss is very evident. 11.4 will be your stop loss. If you really want to be conservative, 11.6 will be your stop loss. And if you lose some money, that's okay. And if this does die here, then we just know we have a channel play, right? If we know that this dies, this is going to be our new channel. horizontally. We'll buy in at 11.4 in this area. Go along. If you lose 3% and this move, you'll then make 10%, and then you use 7% with a stop loss. So that's a great pickup. Let's check the indicators. So they look pretty good. It just broke the 200 and the 50, and again, it does that. As you can see, it breaks the 200 to come back, but again, it does have a problem breaking back through it. So you want to make sure right here, it may kind of consolidate for a few days until it breaks above it, so keep that in mind. On this uptrend, it doesn't get much lower than where it is now. It seems to be reversing anywhere from 43 to about 30. So we're in that reversal range. The stochastic looks good. This is definitely a divergence. As you can see, that's down. This is a double bottom. But again, if it does go down farther than the stochastic, that breaks it. So be aware of that. And then the Vortex has not gone much lower in a long time. That's a great sign for reversal as well. So reversal is coming. It just depends if this is going to be in the same triangle still and do it here, or if it drops down farther and makes a new channel for us. Either way, if you watch this one, you'll make some money. GRBK we just called. I'm calling it again. This is a great upside in this area. This could be a new channel forming, as you can see, or it's in a same triangle still. We don't know. But it uptrended, and now it's consolidating. We just bought it over here, and you would have made an easy 10% in about a day or two of just holding this, right? It went up over 3 days, 10%. That's great. And it dropped off the face of the earth, and that's fantastic. Because now we're back at our area of value. Again, it went down or went up. It went down a lot, came back, went up, and now it came back down. So we're in this area of value, very low risk, but again, you could easily make 10 more percent or maybe even 15. I'm not even going to do the indicators. Actually, yeah, I will. But this is a really good looking stock. GRBK looks really good. So it's riding that 200 EMA line. That'll be your stop loss for sure. And again, it hasn't broken in a long time, so I have no idea what it will do if it breaks it. It may plummet off the face of the earth. It may just come right back. So keep that in mind. It is uptrending, so again, that makes sense. The RSI won't get oversold. But again, we're in that area, looking back historically on this uptrend of where a reversal would happen. The stochastic, again, is very low. Vortex, again, is red. And it does reverse in this area. If you look over, a lot of the red reversals happen in this area, but a lot of green ones also happen. It's uptrending, and Vortex isn't great for uptrends unless it really gets exhausted. Right? See how green that was? And then it came plummeting down? While we're kind of consolidating, it's not the best indicator. But this is a great setup, good stop loss area, easy 10%. GRBK is a good setup. GRPN, close. I was watching it over here, and I saw it consolidating. I'm like, hell yeah, it's going to die on us. And I'm going to get back in and make a butt ton of money. Because this was like almost a 100% play. And I found it late, and I was pissed. But it's showing some life here. And again, this is a great setup, because if it does die back down to the 22s and the 18s, you would have stop lost weeks ago. And when this comes down, then you buy back in and make a bunch of money and cover your losses again. But it's still uptrending technically. I mean, you could say, it was uptrending right here, and then this is the whole pattern. When it cuts here, this is the cut and run, retested, it's still going down. But this is a support that's very strong, as you can see. This was just a wick over it, and it came down, wick, and it came down. Now it's holding the support right here. Will this become the new channel? I don't know. But again, you have this, and you have the old pattern resistance down here. It may drop down to 34 and then show some life. And again, it's showing life right now, and it has a history of doing these bull-like reversals. So that's kind of a good sign. And if it does live here, easily 8, 9, 10, maybe even 12% gains. And if it really does take off and you have faith in it and the fundamentals check out, you're going to be at the ground level of the new channel. So that's a great setup. Let's check the indicators. So again, it looks like it really just gets far away from the 200 and it gets pulled back down. Too far and gets pulled back down. So there is a chance that it's going to come back down to the 31 range and then really cross back down it. The real sign of strength will be when it breaks the 50. It really respects the 52. As you can see, it tested it and died. It needs to break that and hold. If that happens, it's a great sign of strength. This whole uptrend, the RSI doesn't matter. And it really throws out the whole entire RSI across the board just because of the long moves that it has. So maybe it gets oversold, but you would have lost money both times. So I wouldn't put any weight in that either. Oh, here we go. The yawns are back. So dip down. Stochastic, again, doesn't really do much on run-ups. It's saying there's a reversal coming here, and the Vortex, again, is crossing over. So the indicators aren't really useful in these kinds of patterns. There's just such long moves that the indicators should be like weak moves. So these are okay. But again, the real sign of strength is to break the 50. If it dies here, I would definitely wait to buy in because it may just come plummeting down to earth with a lot of force. So make sure you have a stop loss. But GRPN in the future at some point will be a great play. We're about halfway. Let's go. KPTI, we played the last week. We called it over here. I said, hey, it's a pretty bomb-ass channel, my boy. It went kerchoo and took off on 21%. You'll love to see it. What a play. It was beautiful. And then now it's coming down and testing this area. This area has a history of breaking, so do not fall in love thinking you can buy a KPTI right now. If it does not show life tomorrow, I would not buy it. You got to be careful of gaps. Some folks think gaps are strength. They're not. Gaps like to be filled, like a Prince lyric almost, but But it just comes this area and it just dies. But again, it's had such a steady increase up. Maybe this is going to be where the move that we see changes that reversal and goes long here. Do I think it will? No. But do I hope it will? Yes. So if it shows life tomorrow, you can easily make 2 or 3%, 5% on a bounce. But again, like over here, see how it gapped up pre-market? See how folks were like, this is the last, a million right after the market closed, and it gapped up, and people are like, FBI, we got this. Then it shit the bed, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if these gaps that happen, you see how it like gapped up and it just plummets, right? I wouldn't be surprised if it gapped up in the morning and then crashed. But if it shows life tomorrow, buy in. If not, $15, make yourself another cool 20% on the next move. Let's check the indicators real quick. So it's riding the 200 right now, and it respects it. It's a brick wall and it bounces off the 50. It was above both, but now it's testing to break it. That's going to be your hold sign. If it holds the 200 tomorrow, you want to go long. If it doesn't, you want to wait till it gets down into 1530s, 15, maybe even 14.5 range. RSI is a great indicator. It needs to be about the 37 to really be a chance of a reversal, and we're getting there. It's at 41, so you may see some red. But if that happens, that breaks the 200 EMA line, which is a sign of weakness, and I would probably wait. The stochastic is low, but again, it can get a little bit lower, and this is a really good indicator for this one when it has horizontal channels and it does this. It almost mirrors it perfectly, and so if that's the case, which it does, I would definitely wait for it to curl, and then I would go long. The Vortex was mightily over green, and now it's dropping down, and this is an area for the Vortex to reverse. So a reversal is impending, and it is coming. The question is when, and again, that's when you need to figure out your priorities on the indicators and then go long. But this will reverse eventually, probably closer to $15 if it doesn't live tomorrow, but that's a good sign for you because that means you can make more money in the long run. But KPTI is a good investment. LAMR was one of my best trades of the year. I bought in, like most cleanest, I bought in right down here in that really bloody Sunday that we all saw, and then the next Monday was crazy, and it ran up almost 50%. And again, it wasn't like I made the most money off of it, but just I bought here and I literally sold up here. Like I sold it like 91.90. Like I just played that play perfectly. It was crazy. And now we have what looks like a bear flag almost, or a bull flag. It just depends on your definition of it. Most folks would consider a bull flag to be moving down like this to make a bigger move. So moving up is just a channel up, I guess. But again, it's just preference of your terminology. This is definitely a support area, and this is definitely a channel up. Will this last forever? No. It may break higher, may break lower. But again, very clear area of where your stop loss should be. $80, maybe even $79.25. Anywhere in there if it doesn't live. Because if it drops down farther, we're going to let the market show us its hand. If it drops down farther, it's going to either show us that it's a channel forming, maybe it's just a downtrend. We're going to see, right? But as of now, a really good clean channel up. Let's check the indicators. It's riding the 50. That's going to be your play. If it breaks the 50, nothing else matters. If it breaks the 50, I wouldn't buy it. And if it doesn't hold beneath it, I wouldn't buy it. So if it breaks that, I'd be worried. Wait for the 200. The stochastic is low, RSI is fair, and the divergence is again consolidating because this is definitely a consolidating kind of channel. So wait for that. If it breaks the 50 and holds beneath it, I would definitely sell it and then wait for it to show some life again. But LAMR in the future LAMR is a good pickup. We called MLCO twice now and it's worked twice. So like we called it here, like, hey, you should buy in. Then you would have made an easy 5%. Like, hey, do it again. You made an easy 5%. So we're trying it again. Now, again, this had very similar setups. I think this is a good sign here. Do I think this is going to last forever? No. So you got to be careful of it either busting up or busting down. Historically speaking, it bust down and it gapped down hard. So I would be a little nervous to buy it pre-market. As you can see, this is during the market, 12,000 shares, and then 3,000, and then it just sold off immensely because folks were like, damn, bro, I just lost 8%, get out of that. So make sure you're careful with this one. It does gap in this area. So you may have some extra risk, but again, if it does gap up, you can then short it to fill that gap. But this is a good area of value. It should be a fine trade. Let's check the indicators. And it's right on the 200. This is a great play. This is a really good sign of where your stop loss needs to be, right in this area. And again, let's check back. When it broke it, you see how it broke that? That's why it sold off. So if it does break here and does not show life tomorrow morning or even like tonight, I'd be cautious. Now, I wouldn't freak out. Don't freak out and be like, oh God, because it's still a good value play. We're still talking easily 6%, maybe even 10. But again, just risk to reward, given the history, I would wait for it to show some life. Yeah, it reverses around this area, maybe a little bit lower. Stochastic low, Vortex is low. A reversal is impending, but again, just with the history of gapping, that makes me a little bit nervous. But MLCO is a good pickup. MORF, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Again, we have a channel. This was a beautiful, I can math, 5-month channel, and we have now an uptrend. It's shown higher lows throughout it. Every single time. It may not line up with the chart that well or this channel, but it does, right? Higher low, HL, HL, HL. Across the board, it's shown bullish signs. So it's going to reverse anywhere between here and 27.3, which is where the channel is. It's a good 8% difference for sure. But again, this is a whole area where it's going to reverse. So would I wait for it to hit the channel? Yeah, probably, because every time it has, it's kind of gotten close to it. But again, these 3 big moves did not touch it. They were right above it. So I guess you could realistically, that's not going to work. That's fine. You realistically, just need to realize that we're in that area of reversal, and it's still uptrending. So again, if you see some life tomorrow, it shows some good pre-reaction movement, yeah, go long, dude. You got plenty of room to run. But again, your stop loss needs to be smart. You have your support area here. So overall, if you buy in early, you just hold and you can make some money. But it's a good-looking stock. Let's check the indicators. So it's right on the 200. That's your play. Those usually line up pretty well. It's gorgeous. It may break it tomorrow. Okay, it wicks down, but it has not held a candle beneath it. So if it does wick down tomorrow and then it shows life, buy in. It looks pretty good. RSI is at a fair price. Stochastic was just low. Then, of course, it's bumping back down because it's, can't break the 50 right now. But when it breaks and holds it, it's going to make a good run. Vortex has not gotten much lower in a long time. So a reversal is impending. It looks like it all points that same exact direction. But if the 200 breaks, do not buy in. But if it breaks it for 4 hours of the day and comes back, then you should buy it. But MORF is a good look, for sure. MTOR. That's a meteor, but that's a Meritor. That's cool. This is not a perfect trend line. If this didn't happen, it would be. But again, sell-offs do happen. There's probably a big red day in the market that day, and just came back like that LAMR play we talked about. And we're back here. We called this earlier in the month, and it was okay. So here, it's going to show some life. Easily 5, 6, 7, 8, 10%. Very clear area of resistance right here, making a triangle. Showing some bullish signs here. It's really a nice setup. It does have a history of getting to the bottom of the channel. Like, it just hasn't done that once, and that was also very close. So I think it has some room to really drop off. But one could argue that this is still an uptrend, and this is the first pullback. So that's a bit extreme of one. I think it's just a ascending triangle, and it hit the top, and now it's coming back down. So anywhere from here to 27.50, anywhere in here is a good place to buy in. Go long. If it dies, you'll have a new channel depending on where it stops. If it stops at like 25.75, new channel, buy in then, abuse that. But MTOR right here is a good pickup. Let's check the indicators. So it was bouncing off the 50, and it still is. That's going to be your stop loss. If it breaks the 50 and holds beneath it for more than 3 candles or so, I'd get worried. RSI is fair, but it's uptrending, so that makes sense. So I wouldn't be oversold. And again, you want to see it hopefully stay above the 50 and kind of get in this 37.44 range. That's what you want. Stochastic is low. And again, there's no divergences quite yet, but it looks really good. And then the Vortex just crossed away from green. But again, it is consolidating, so that kind of makes some sense. And it does that, It does these kind of moves over here. So just got to hope for some green tomorrow. With that being said, MTOR is a great pickup for the future. And again, very low risk because it's obvious where the stop losses should be. I like it a lot. Peaks I've called before. I'm not going to talk about the indicators. It's just still at the bottom of its triangle channel here, and I like that a lot. While I have you here, I've said this is an easy read for your stop losses. In case you don't know, you can use ATR on this chart, and it'll show you the volatility and where it should be. As of right now, every day it's moving about 33 cents up or down. Given that, from right where it is, you would drop down 33 cents, which should be right about there. 28.08 could be your stop loss. And then I would sprinkle on a little bit extra to give it some room because, as you can see, it's not a static thing. It goes up and down. So I would definitely be comfortable giving it 41 cents. So, it's 1.47% away. Given the fact that that's such a small percentage, I'd even go farther and say 2.5, 3%. Anywhere in here could be your stop loss. So plenty of room to work. And again, this is definitely a support area. I'll move this line down just to show you, obviously a support area. So we'll see if it makes some moves here. But again, this is an area for reversals. That's a good look. I like it a lot. Next is PGEN. And again, with ATR on, we'll look at it real quick just to give you a second example. Uptrend. And again, this will not last forever. This is very, very steep. But this is an uptrend and now an area of support. I wouldn't be surprised if this makes a channel because there's ascension, consolidation, descension, and consolidation. Stocks do well when their ascensions are higher than their pullbacks. So it may ascend, consolidate, pull back half as far, consolidate, go back up. So I think this may be an area for it to start to consolidate. And that's going to be dope. But again, we'll get in the bottom floor of the uptrend and of the new channel if that happens. Easily 20, 30% on a big move. Again, the average movement a day is 44%. So from here, you go down 44 cents. That's going to be 5%. I'd make it 5.5 to really be safe here. So that'd be right about there. Yep, right there. So 846 would be your stop loss. And that may not look like a lot, and that's because it isn't. This thing is very volatile at the moment. So keep that in mind with your stop losses. One more thing you can do for stop losses is you can find out which one has the cleanest run-ups by using the 10 EMA line. And then whatever one looks the best, I would use. Hypothetically, if the 20-day is the best looking one, there is a study called ADTR trailing stop. I would use that one. And as you can see on this chart, it gives you where they would put the stop loss. Now, this is stupid because it's saying you should short it because it's downtrending. And that's kind of the downfall of this. It's kind of stupid. That's not how this works. We're trying to get in before a big move. But let's just say on this chart, that's what we see. You can see at the moment, it's giving it 4% that way, 3.4%, 2.48%. So you can kind of use that also and be like, all right, if it's giving it that way positive, I can at least go 4% negative. So that's another way of using that one too. But let's check the indicators for PGEN. So it was riding the 50, it broke it, but did that before into the channel just to do it again. And the 50 is kind of getting more sideways than it is vertical, so that's a good sign. And it may come down to the 200, and as you can see, that could be a really good play as well. RSI is not oversold, it's uptrending, so for it to kind of get in this area would make a lot of sense. And this is where it reverses at. So, I mean, you look back historically, 36, 38 is where you want it. The stochastic is consolidating, but again, was recently oversold, and then it went up a little bit, and now it's getting oversold again. Vortex doesn't get much lower, but it can. So reversal is impending, it looks like, just depends on where, but PGEN is a good setup. PNW, one of our rare losses. We just said over here, hey, a lot of reversals happen here. It went up, and then it came down and went back up. So you probably would have broken even-ish if you bought in. But over here, we have a double bottom. Boop, boop. That's a great sign of life. It's also at other strong area support / reversal area anywhere in here. It looks really good. And again, this is great because if it doesn't live here, you can set your stop loss 75.3, 75.2. And then if it does die, we're just going to buy in at 69.89. Or maybe we'll buy in at 69. Hold on now. 69.69. Dinner for 4. You buy in around here. Then it makes a full move up. You'll make 19%, but you lost 2. You made 17%. It took longer, but you covered your losses. That's part of the game, right? Even big men, even Shaq missed free throws. Shaq missed layups, but he put the ball back in the hole and got his points, right? He may have been 1 for 2 on field goals, but that boy made the bucket, right? That's what matters. So you may lose some money, you make it up in the end, and get some extra. So that's good. Good channel. It may live here and start a new channel, but again, if it doesn't, we just buy in lower. Let's check the indicators. It's going to need to break both these. The 200 respects highly. It bounces out to 50. These will not be together. You can see why I tried it, but it was like, frick, man, this is hard, right? It needs to break that. So again, if it does get life here and then it turns back around, it needs to break the 50 at least and hold, and then break the 200 and hold. RSI is, oversold. It recently was, and then, you get your reversal over here. See how that's lined up perfectly? We said, hey, it's going to be reversal over here. And eventually it did. Just took longer than we thought. Over here, again, it just needs to show some life, but stochastic can't get much lower. Vortex can't get much lower. So it's saying there will be reversal soon, but again, just like over here, you had a very small one. So I think it should reverse eventually, hopefully here. If it doesn't, we just buy in lower, make our money back. But PNW eventually will be a great play. RVP is a beautiful setup for a setting triangle. As you can see, you can put the line here. It would make almost like a perfect triangle across. And again, it had a big day and came back down. One could also draw the triangle line right here and just say these were just fake outs, which they were. So this thing has massive potential, and it's a little bit cheaper. So it did just go up, and it came back down. You need to understand that you need to figure out the direction of the current move to see what you should do. If it's currently downtrending and it taps and it goes up and comes back down, you need to take that into consideration that it just tapped and it's a pullback. If it has not hit if you see over here how it has not hit the channel yet, and you see a green bar, that's still technically downtrending. But now that we've gotten to ground level over here where this obvious support line is, which I could have drawn, but again, it's just such an obvious channel, right? This is obviously a support area. Even back over here, it's evident, right? This is where reversals happen, right? Seeing as it tapped that and now it's going up, that to me says it's now uptrending more than it is downtrending, right? Because it got to our area of value. Let's show some life tomorrow. But again, 11:02 this morning, it was at 10:66. So if it does show life, easily 12%. A big move, 40-50%. I'm not guaranteeing that kind of big move, but again, eventually it should break above that and make some good moves. If it doesn't, if it gets up here and dies on us, then we're just going to buy in lower in the $6-7 range and make our money back. So RVP is a good setup. Let's check the indicators. Simple. It's right in the 200. If it breaks the 200 badly, you get rid of it. And again, it does do that occasionally over here. So don't freak out. That's going to plummet on you. If you want to hold, you can. But again, I would just buy in when it crosses the 200 and then save my day trades for this kind of play. It's uptrending, so again, it gets to about this area to reverse. RSI doesn't seem that overly useful in the situation, and stochastic is a little bit low, vortex is low. So a reversal is probably going to happen, but again, I would wait for some life first just to make sure you got a good deal. But RVP is a good pickup. Last one I will not spend a lot of time on is SUI. We talked about it last week. We bought it twice. I bought it myself last Wednesday. It went up 1.5%, and then it died on me. So my stop loss is somewhere down here in the 142 range. 140-ish. I'm just waiting for it to show some life, but again, I'm not pumping this by any means, but again, it's in the channel. It showed some life, and now it's pulling back. So there's a good chance it's going to kind of keep going up here. And if it doesn't, again, if it dies here, that's totally fine because we're just going to buy in at 137. It will make our money back easy. So I'm not going to even do the indicators because you've seen this last week, but SUI is a good pickup. And there you have it. 18 plays today. 18 that you can play this week. I'm sure some of these are going to take off without you. There's going to be a green day sometime this week, and one of these is going to go up 10, 15%, and you've lost it, right? I'm sure at least a few have room to drop, so if you see some of these go red, don't be like, haha, loser, told you these are going to drop on you. No, they are definitely going to drop. But into my areas of value, I'm giving you a few days notice before volume hits in, and then you can get in and make some good moves. Got some crusties. With that being said, if you like the content, like, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. It was about a 40-minute video today, but again, I had 18 tickers. You're welcome. With no further or nothing else, I'm tired. With nothing else, have a good rest of your Monday. And we'll see you guys tomorrow for another watch list. I appreciate it greatly. We'll see you guys next time.